Previously on the trip to Orlando. That's our flight. We got heading towards the Miami, Florida. Right now on our way to our rental, and love the 321.
Wish I was a star, so I can feel the yell in my face. It ain't no big deal, but I miss the way we make up and smile. Don't wanna be a star when I change my mind. I wish I had eyes in the back of my head, then I could see the places I've been. But then I would know that you're talking shit. I don't wanna know what my friends think. Wish I were my dog out on the lawn. I'd be so glad when I hear you come home. But if I were my dog, I wouldn't live long. I'm sure gonna miss her when she's gone. I wish I could act in a show on TV, cause then I could cry to stop being me. I'll practice my cry, but it isn't my real. But you won't believe me when I cry for real. I wish that my brain would trip inside. I'd nail every joke, I'd win every fight.
Now, before today's video starts, I might want to go back to August 16th, 2024, which is the first episode, and recap all of you of what you all missed on episode 1. So, let's recap. For those who were in episode 1, please click this timeline and head over to the timeline so you can see where today's episode will begin. And for the new fans, welcome to episode 2, and let's begin the recap of what you all missed. And the recap begins here on August 16th, 2024 at Boston Logan International Airport. On this day, at around 7 a.m., our flight, which was American Airlines flight number 1413 from Boston to DC, was just pulling out of the gate and heading over to the taxiway and eventually the runway to get ready for the takeoff to DC. And soon after we leave our gate, we will find some ground traffic. However, this will not be an issue because usually this is the time during the morning where planes leave out of Boston and get into Boston. So that's usually the morning rush hour we are in. And then at around 7:50 a.m., we took off from Boston. And honestly, at this point, I was definitely a little emotional because considering I am leaving my state for the first time, and considering that I am heading to 2 new states, so I mean, that was a dream of mine, but not in an airplane. I was thinking of a train, not gonna lie. And then roughly 1 hour and 30 minutes later, while flying in the beautifully sunny skies, we finally landed in DC, and 1 hour and 30 minutes later. And to be quite honest, I was actually feeling a little bit weird in DC because number one, the president lives here. And second of all, I was staring right in front of the Boeing 777, otherwise known as the 777. So you can kind of see where I'm actually facing my weirdness too. And then we boarded our second American Airlines flight, which was American Airlines flight number 1372. And around an hour and 30 minutes later, we finally landed in Orlando. And to be quite honest, this Orlando International Airport it kind of felt bigger than the Miami International Airport. Although Miami International Airport is definitely a bigger one. But as you can see, this airport is just so precious. I mean, to be quite honest, to be in Orlando for the first time, it definitely felt like it was one big masterpiece. And now let's begin where today's episode begins. And today's episode will begin here on August 16th, 2024 at around 11 p.m. And as you can see, I'm in bed, ready to get my first ever sleep and wake up to my first official day in Orlando, Florida. And we have a special family trip to come up on the first day of Orlando. And I ended up filming a few more audios for you all. Check for yourself. Okay. It's time for me to go to bed. So yeah, as you can see, I am definitely tired, but I am ready to begin day 1 in Orlando. And then the morning shines a few hours later on August 17th, 2024. Officially day 1 in Orlando begins. Actually no, the sun wasn't even out yet because I woke up at 6:33 a.m. So as you can see, I definitely woke up very early. But here's my reaction when I woke up. Check for yourself. Morning, Orlando. I know it is a little dark, but it's not the same as last time. It's 6:33 in the morning. And we are gonna go to Epcot. A new, well, if you all know what Epcot is, for those who are new and don't know, it's Walt Disney World. So, I mean, yeah. And then at around 7:21 a.m., I finally got up and pulled up the shades to look at the incredibly sunny blue skies, and it was amazingly gorgeous. However, I decided to pull the shades down because it was definitely too bright for me for my eyes, so I ended up getting ready instead. And then around 2 hours later, we finally left our Airbnb bound for Epcot theme park in Walt Disney World. And to be honest, everybody, just look at this Airbnb neighborhood. I mean, this is honestly like a mansion neighborhood if you ask me. So many modern cars and so many modern houses. I mean, what couldn't be a better place than stay here in this private neighborhood in Orlando, Florida? Well, Kissimmee, Orlando, Florida is where we stayed. And once we got on the road, I saw this kind of either abandoned or building construction building. I mean, it kind of looks like to me, at first I thought it was an abandoned building, but then I saw some other buildings. However, I soon noticed that these were up for sale. So, I cannot just imagine what I was seeing. Sailed up big, massive buildings. And if you look at this field, this is literally over 14 million feet. And whenever I saw that, I was just thinking, how on earth are 6 buildings up for sale? Well, 2 you saw. And 2 buildings, one on the other side and one on the side that you just saw, up for construction. And a field of 14 million square feet up for sale. I mean, that's a pretty big amount of space if you ask me. My estimates will put them into like 100 million square feet, or just a big ginormous like rectangle all around the area, because I would match it as that. But yep, anyways, after we passed all of that, we headed over to Epcot theme park. Let's go. And soon enough later, we passed the sign that everyone has been waiting for, the Walt Disney World park sign. And we have officially passed below the sign, and now we are in the park or part of Walt Disney World. And whenever I passed below the sign, I definitely felt a little bit excited because considering I am at a park for the very first time, and everyone has been mentioning around this park that it is so popular that I really wanted to go to it. And I even saw some buses, which you can see right there, which look like the MBT's D40LF buses from 2006 and 2008 models, which is actually kind of cool considering I am in Orlando and they have the same buses as the MBTA. And now we have arrived 3 minutes later at Epcot theme park parking lot. And honestly, it is just insane of when I look back at this footage whenever I caught it, it's just insane of how big and how full this parking lot was going to be whenever I entered. Just so many cars in line already waiting. But first, let me tell you all something real quick. Now, before I show you all the bus clips, I first want to tell you all that I will not be including any attraction or rides in this video. I will be covering that in a separate video, because I feel like that if this video is too long, then I will have to release the video late, or have some storage issues, or get the exporting up late. I mean, there could be 1,000 issues I have to experience. So that's why I will not include every single detail in this video. Instead, I will push it into another video. So keep an eye out in the next week or two. So stay tuned for that video, everybody. Anyways, here are the 4 buses that entered the parking lot while I was entering. Check for yourself. Now, what you all saw from those last 3 buses and this bus that is about to go into the parking lot is that they are wearing a different kind of Mickey character paint schemes, which is literally characters from the Mickey Mouse film or whatever. Those characters are actually on different buses. Maybe some buses have the same characters, but honestly, those 4 buses that just passed are absolutely incredible. I just couldn't believe my eyes of what I was seeing. Mickey Mouse character buses. Those are very rare for me, if you ask me. After a short time later, we finally arrived at Epcot theme park. And you know what? I'm going to let you all vote on what you all think, because This clip is just unspeakable. So check for yourself, everybody, and leave your guys' opinions in the comments below. Whoa, the music has gone too far. Let's stop here and let's continue the explaining of this video. So, let's go on to the first ride of what I went on. And this ride is basically telling everyone on what the future holds and what the past holds. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play a few clips by audio and I will also explain what it means by the clips. So this first part is basically where you're going into space and you're seeing illusions of animals and lightning or stars. I kind of forgot, but that's basically what this part is, and it's basically really cool. Check it out for yourselves.
Where do we go? And what kind of future will we discover there? Surprisingly, the answer lies
I'm scared.
since the dawn of recorded history, we've been inventing the future one step at a time. So let's travel back in time together. I'll show you how our ancestors created the world we know today.
Okay, so by that first visual right there, I was definitely a little scared yet very excited because I was excited to see what the ride was, but I was a little scared about this part. So as you can see, mostly all of your emotions in the first ride can just kick in out of nowhere. That's exactly what happened to me. Scared, excited, and just having so much fun. That's just how it is in Florida. Hey, what is that? But some of these clips right here in this ride are definitely hard to explain, which I will not explain in this part, but until I find one that's normal and easy to explain, I will explain it then.
To ancient Egypt, because something is about to happen here that will change the future forever.
This path right here is definitely one of the doors in ancient Egypt, is what I knew of. Pretty cool.
This unknown Egyptian found in Reed's bag is inventing papyrus. Papyrus in turn creates...
Now in this part, it looks like they are reading something, or reading a passage, or listening to it. I actually have no idea. It kind of looks like it to me.
Has its own form of writing, which none of the others can understand. But the Phoenicians, who trade with them.
This part right here is actually my favorite part because it shows everything of the stars. Pretty cool. Now in this part, I'm actually not sure of what they're doing, but it looks like 3 people are listening to a man teaching them a lesson or something. I actually have no idea, but it seems like there is 4 persons. 1 in the distance standing, and 3 others sitting while listening. Pretty cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, our time travels have been momentarily delayed. Please remain seated. Your time machine vehicle will begin moving again at any moment. Please remain seated. We'll resume our journey shortly.
This stopping thing happened over 3 times while I was on the ride. And yet very frustrating for those who want to be on the ride, including me. But I was still very excited for the next ride. And that leads us to our next ride, train catching. Yes, I am catching a Disney train, which in my opinion, it looks like a Japanese train. What do you all think of this train in the comments below? Does it look like any other state city train? And this scenery view of the sphere and the next ride I was going to go on called the Seas, it was definitely a quacky one. And yet a line in front of us. So yeah, not going to bore you all with this. And while I was waiting for my turn to get on the ride ended up stopping and having an issue with the ride. It was sort of a mechanical issue for me, although that's what it seemed like because it was only like a 35-minute wait for the ride to get back on. So what do y'all think? Was it a mechanical issue or was it something else? You all vote down in the comment section. And for those who have been on the ride, you all know of what the experience is. For me, it was actually not bad. I actually liked it because at the end, fish were singing, but yet it was still kind of an old memory because I used to like Nemo back then, but apparently things have gotten older now. So as you see, starting to move on from things. But not for Rail Fanning and the trip to Orlando. That will never fail and never move on. And also, some of you all are from international areas, which you can see I am in Japan. Well, Japan and Florida. Here in Epcot theme park, we have many different places we can go, such as Japan, France, Korea, literally anything in Epcot theme park. You may check it out in their website, but this was honestly quite incredible. And this building had one of the things I like to call the spinny turn. So there you go, have it. And they even had a little artifact museum in this building. And honestly, it is just incredible of how old times artifacts can actually be saved and stored for us in the future. And this sign said Shanghai Disney Resort. So as you can see, we are in a building in Shanghai, China. Well, now I call it the Shanghai, Florida because we are in Florida, Orlando. So for those who cannot go to Japan or any international areas, then have Florida Epcot theme park be your place. And one of the coolest things you can find is that if you go to the Germany part of the park, where it is the international part of the park, you can actually find moving whole-scale train models. And honestly, these were by far the coolest thing I've ever seen in Florida because I have never seen moving whole-scale models in real life. I've seen them in videos, obviously, but never in real life. So this was actually insane, especially the trains are from Germany. So now I can see what it will look like in Germany when I go in the near future to an international part of the world. So there you go, early it came. And while we were stretching our legs and continuing the journey later on, we came across this water fountain that just felt like it was the weather of Orlando. Literally, guys, the water was just like the weather and the condition of Orlando. I mean, that's just insane. And honestly, if you guys dip your hand into the water, then you already know the experience. It's just hot weather and everything. And yep, that was basically part of the fountain. So there you go, have it. But even though the safety glasses on this ride wasn't a big deal for the camera, it was a big deal for me because it was very bright. So stay tuned for the separate video around this attraction because this ride was definitely waiting for you all. And I was definitely expecting it as Ratatouille. Yup, that's a similar scene on the Ratatouille movie, if you have seen it. And one of the attractions that I find very interesting at Epcot theme park are these lift rides. Unless that's what the attraction ride is. I actually have no idea, I forgot, but I call them that. But these lift rides can take you to 2 other different parks in the area. Which the first park they take you is Hollywood Studios. Which these lift rides are a reliable way to actually get across the 3 parks in one circle around the area. So if one of you guys are at Epcot theme park and need to traverse around the area to get to the other park, then take these lift rides. They are a great way to get you across the parks. And trust me, they are worth it. And then at 8:08 p.m., we left Epcot theme park to wrap up this episode of the trip to Orlando. I really hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please make sure to consider subscribing to my channel and liking this video if you feel so inclined. And stay tuned for the full attraction and ride video of Epcot theme park. And also stay tuned for episode 3, where we head over to Tampa, Florida, a beach that is no other like in the world, other than clean and clear.